Go ahead.
Hey, Calvin, how you doing today? Just wanted to find out what led to your decision to come to Illinois.
Um, Pretty much when I hit the transfer portal, of course, it gets pretty hectic. A lot of schools coming at me and things like that. But obviously, I think it was just the faith and the conversations that I had with Coach B just coming in. We have this multiple conversations, hearing everything, hearing from his expertise and what he knows. I felt like it was a great opportunity that presented itself to come here.
And what do you think you can do while you're at Illinois? Just maybe that you couldn't do where you were.
Definitely make a bigger impact on defense. Of course, I made an impact there at NC State, but being able to make a consistent impact, weekly and on a day-to-day basis, making big plays to win big games, creating big stops on defense is something that I pride myself in doing. So hopefully that was what's going to take place with me being here.
Thanks, Calvin. Welcome aboard.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Calvin, it's Jeremy Werner from 24/7. Just wondering, what was this process like as a transfer compared to as a high school recruit? Like, how was it different for you?
It has its similarities, because you're a fresh new face, nobody really knows you, kind of get earn respect from certain guys, and, things of that nature. But the big difference is I've been in school for 3 years, so I just gained a lot of experience, especially being able to just learn different things and kind of being accustomed to school as well, and like being able to find my classes and do things like that, and just being able to get around guys and having more confidence. Obviously, being in school for so long, it's not really like you're coming in like, I'm coming in, I kind of know what I do, I know what I bring to the table, so.
And I know Coach Dorn and, Coach Bielema obviously are pretty close from their past. Did you ask Coach Dorn for any advice about Coach Bielema, or did you just kind of do that on your own?
I did it on my own. Of course, they had some conversations which I heard about, so it's just some word of mouth that I got. And, Coach Dorn and Coach B seemed to have a great conversation. Coach Dorn didn't want me to leave, of course, but, they had a good conversation. That's how I ended up here.
What did you hear about those conversations? It must have gone positive.
I had to come pretty positive. I just heard, Coach Dorn was basically saying you're getting a good guy and you're getting somebody that I didn't want to leave. So, the fact that I still want him here should be all the reason why you should recruit him.
Thanks, Calvin.
Hey, Calvin, how important was it to you to stay in the Power Five? Was that critical, or did you care about that at all?
Honestly, I'm a believer. I believe in faith. I'm a high believer in a higher power. I believe in God. So, I believe in whatever God took me. Whatever presented itself was the best opportunity for me. So, I was just gonna take whatever chances that I got. If it would have been Power Five, or wherever I had to go to do what I needed to do to be successful at what I was going to do.
And how familiar are you with the Illinois linebacker tradition? Do you know much about it? Have you learned more about it in the last couple of days?
I've done a little bit of research. I haven't been able to too much of knowledge yet, but I've done some pretty good research of some previous players. I was here, been some good guys, some good linebackers that come out here just recently too, on which I didn't see. So, it seemed like there's some good backers that come out here, and with Coach Andy Boo and him coming in with his expertise and telling us what he knows. I think it's going to be a pretty good experience.
And our last thing, are we supposed to call you Calvin or CJ? What do you like?
You can call me Calvin.
That's good. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Calvin, Joey Wagner with 24/7 Sports. I'm curious, what was the conversation like with Coach Bielema that sold you on his vision? What's he like as he's recruiting you in terms of transfers?
What really got my attention was, I'm from South Florida. So, a lot of coaches try to recruit out of South Florida, but, once you get to the campus, some coaches don't really know how to handle a South Florida player, and because we just bring a different kind of style. I would say this is a different kind of swag on the field. And just all his all the players, all the great players that he didn't recruited out of South Florida, and a player that a coach actually that's here, Aaron Henry, which is from North Florida. But just all the people that he's recruited out of Florida, and just being able to know that I can trust in somebody like that, and plus where he's coming from. He's coached linebackers in the NFL as well, and and my all in turn goal is to go to the league and hopefully play in the NFL for a good time. So just being able to learn from that, just the great conversations, just speaking to him about that and what I could do, and he could see me doing that, and that's kind of all I wanted.
What kind of swagger do South Florida kids bring to the football field? Can you describe it?
Definitely, I would say we're speedy guys, and we do a little bit of talking, just a little bit, not too much, but as long as our actions are backing up what we do on the field, I feel like we just bring a different kind of
Thanks, Calvin. Welcome to Champaign.
Thank you.
Hey, Calvin, you obviously just mentioned Andy Boo. Did you have any conversations with him when you were kind of figuring out if you wanted to come to Illinois, or was it strictly with Bielema at first?
It was strictly with Coach B. Honestly, I didn't know who the linebacker coach was going to be after I committed. So, it was honestly the complete trust that I had in Coach B.
Have you had any conversations with Coach Boo since then?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we had we have great conversations, just weekly, day-to-day basis, coming in. As soon as he got the job, he called me, to say how happy he was to be able to coach me and to just teach me things and learn different stuff. So it's honestly it's been a blessing since I met the whole coaching staff.
Yeah, and then obviously with Illinois losing some guys at linebacker, trying to go to the NFL and everything, you kind of have a chance to slip right in there in a starting role. What do you think you bring that's different, or what do you think you could just bring to the table in the starting lineup?
I think that I'm gonna bring a lot of turnovers to the defense. I kind of pride myself on trying to strip the ball as much as I can. Just trying to force plays and disrupt plays, and that's kind of what I do. I run to the ball. I think I will be probably one of the top first guys to get to the ball. First on contact. I just try to like my competition is myself. So if each play I just try to go as hard as I can. That's kind of how I've been raised, and that's just kind of how I do things on the field.
Thanks, Calvin.
Hey, Calvin, I'm curious about your relationship with Coach McDonald. I mean, you transferred here before even knowing he was coming here. So can you tell me about that?
It's honestly crazy that you asked that, because I would have never thought that he was going to be here. But, he recruited me. He was my recruiter, because he had South Florida at NC State. So he actually recruited me. So he was one of the first coaches that actually reached out to me my junior year. So I was able to get a good relationship with him. Obviously, I committed. So, I had a great – me and Coach McDonald have a pretty great relationship. He's a great coach. He knows what he's doing. So I'm glad to see him here, rocking orange and blue now.
Did you contact him when he accepted the job to say, hey, Coach, I'm already here, or anything like that?
Of course, I had to. As soon as I saw you got the job, made the call, I said, welcome, Coach. Welcome home. Be back. And, he was here. He played football here. So, it's all coming full circle.
I'm also curious of your kind of awareness of the depth chart when you were looking at Illinois as a transfer location. Obviously not only is it thin on linebackers, but 3 season-ending injuries to guys last year. Going into the spring, were you aware that there were snaps available right away?
That's kind of one of the first things that that drew my attention, because coming into the transfer portal, I want to have an effect right away. That's pretty much what the goal is for me. So being able to hear that there's some guys down, hopefully they heal up soon and they get the rehab that needs to be done, and some guys that's going to the draft, it seemed like a spot for me to be able to walk in and be able to create things quickly. So that's what I wanted to do.
Good, thanks.
Calvin, I'm curious as to what broke down at NC State. Was it simply just a playing time issue and you wanting to get on the field a little bit more and and you wanting to find a place where you could just play more? Is that more or less what went on there?
I mean, you can simplify things and try to simplify it to make it seem like it was just playing time. But there's, of course, some things, behind the scenes, and, just certain expectations, and, got nothing but love for those coaches. But, I believe that, definitely I have a gift to do what I do. And, I just feel like sometimes I wasn't treated properly. But, it is what it is now. And, everything happens for a reason.
How would you describe the transfer portal experience? Some guys like to be re-recruited and feel wanted. Some guys didn't like the hectic of high school recruiting and don't want to deal with it anymore. How would you describe the whole experience?
I definitely think it was hectic. I mean, of course, dealing with the whole recruitment all over again is a little stressful. Just trying to figure out who's really giving you BS and who's telling you the facts. And, that's kind of what led me here. I felt like I heard a lot of facts here, a lot of things that can be written down on paper, not just things that were just said. So it was just a lot of that, a lot of people just trying to get you there. It's trying to get you on campus and stuff like that. And especially with Corona and all that stuff, you can't just go visit. So you have to literally just trust some phone calls.
That was going to be my last follow-up, which is with Corona and everything that's going on. Was it ever in your head, hey, maybe I want to go back closer to home and maybe I want to get back to South Florida if a school's interested at all?
Originally, that was my goal. I wanted to stay in Florida. That was actually my goal. But, God had another plan for me, and doors opened up here before the doors opened up in Florida. So I decided to take this shot.
Thanks, Calvin. Appreciate it.
Hey, Calvin, I had a quick follow-up. I know they might do things differently now, but since they kind of came along, Coach Doran and Coach Bielema believed in the same defense at one point. What did you learn at NC State under Coach Doran's defense that you can bring to Illinois?
That's definitely, I believe that great defenses, you can see the effort on the field. There's no doubt about it. And I could say that's one thing that we play with. If we, whenever I was in and all the guys, it was a player-led team. Defense was player-led. And, the best times to win games when the players leading players. So once you can count on each other and being able not to just, wait on coach to say something, but when you have other players being able to speak up for one another and being able to actually trust each other on the field and having full out effort, is pretty much what I believe, what I learned the most is being able to play effort, and not just with effort, but discipline. So having good discipline and good effort combined is how you'll be able to play better on defense.
And you mentioned some things you could put on paper that sold you on this place. Can you share any of those?
I mean, obviously, like you guys said, some guys that went out and some guys that had to go into rehab from certain injuries and things like that. So it's you can't say that there's no linebackers there. You can't say that there's a bunch of linebackers there that's ready to play, because sometimes, some guys get hit on the depth chart. But, kind of the facts was here. And pretty much he wiped the whole coach staff clean. And, he pretty much said that I would be the guy. And that's not something that's I kind of always wanted to do, but I feel like something that I've been blessed to do.
Thanks.
Calvin, I got one more. Is this the first time you've been around this kind of weather? Because I got a feeling this is not normal, certainly for Florida, even for Raleigh.
Definitely the first time. I'm getting accustomed to it, wearing a lot of sweaters and jackets.
Did you have a coat when you got here?
Huh?
Did you have a big old coat when you got here, or no?
I did not. I had to invest in one as soon as I got here.
And is that not a big deal to you, or is it kind of cool to be in snow?
Honestly, it's not a big deal. I would have to I would have to be in the cold sometime, some part of my life. So, it's not a really big deal. Just got to get acclimated to it.
Thanks a lot.
Calvin, I had a quick follow-up. We saw, I think, a couple of transfers got here about the same time. And was there anything, did you guys talk to each other? Was there a common thread that Coach Bielema's message really resonated with all three of you, or have those conversations not happened?
Well, I only talked to like one guy coming in from that Chase Hayden, who's actually my roommate. He knew Coach B from Arkansas, so they already had their own relationship that was built up. So I think me and his conversations were kind of different.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one question about the roommate thing. How does that work with a mid-year transfer? Is it, hey, here's 2 transfers, you guys need a place to live. Calvin, here's Chase. Chase, this is Calvin. All right, start moving in, or how does that work?
It's pretty much, social media. So Chase had reached out to me, and, we all need to find a place. So, as soon as we got here, we started looking for some nice, they gave us some options, and we pretty much just chose.
And how's that working out so far?
Pretty good, definitely. Getting up early. My car's getting shipped up here. He got his car already, so we've been able to carpool together. So it's been pretty cool.
Thanks.
All good now? All right.
Thanks, Calvin.
Thanks, Calvin.
Uh,